got Mike here, man, in the shadow of Big Red Eye. Dude, I'm not gonna lie, I just got done watching your Allegheny Forest episode.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yo, man, unbelievable stuff. Younglings, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah,
think so. They got to start off young somewhere, right?
yeah,
Somehow.
yeah, man. So I see you're up in my old stomping grounds, neck of the woods. I grew up in Philadelphia.
Okay.
Did a lot of camping out in the Pine Barrens, man. Spent a lot of time down the shore, Wildwood, Cape May County, stuff like that, man.
I
But
actually just got back from a Pine Barrens expedition this past weekend. We were looking for the
oh,
Jersey Devil.
oh man, we're gonna have to do a whole nother episode on that. So it's funny because I grew up in Philadelphia. One of the big things was for me growing up, I was Boy Scout many years, still involved with some of that stuff now. With my kids, so we do a lot of camping here in Florida and whatnot. But when up there, we used to do the canoeing trip over there in Jersey at
hmm
Wharton State Forest.
Yeah. Yeah. That's where we
So,
were. Beautiful,
yeah.
isn't it?
Oh man, it's phenomenal. It's gorgeous. So let me jump into. Can you give my viewers and my listeners a little bit of your background and where you came from and how you got involved into finding Bigfoot?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So I am 34. I am a past EMT firefighter, and what I do now is I look for Bigfoot full time. During the day, what I do is I go around and speak at libraries. I do library presentations around the country, and at night, what I do is look for Bigfoot. It's pretty cool. I've been doing it for since 2011, so a couple of years now. What got me into it was I got rocks thrown at me in Florida, which is something that was really it really freaked me out. It was my first time ever camping, and since that night, it had changed my life forever, really. And now I do this full time. It's crazy.
That's awesome, man. So I was actually reading up on a little bit on your bio and listening to a few other odds and ends throughout, social media. The rocks being thrown were almost like a boulder style.
Yeah, the first it was a total of 5 rocks that got thrown at me, and the first 4 were like fist-sized rocks. Um, and then the my buddy threw one of the rocks back at it, and a gigantic laptop-sized boulder came crashing down, landed like 5 feet from us.
Wow, man. And
Yeah,
that happened here in Florida, am I correct?
yeah, it was in Torrey State Park up in the Panhandle. Yep.
Wow, man. Wow. How now you're based out of New Jersey, am I correct?
I am, yeah, Northwest New Jersey, kind of the armpit of Pennsylvania, New York.
The armpit.
Yeah.
Some people might agree with you on the armpit part. Now, I you just recently the video that was posted, Allegheny National Forest. Now, it was you and I noticed you had a first-time researcher with you.
Yeah, Pat. Yep.
Yeah, how did he enjoy being out there with you doing this?
Oh man, he to this day he still texts me and he's like, "Dude, Mike, that trip was awesome." And that was like
Uh,
6 months ago. So so it was
yeah.
pretty good trip.
Now, I heard you talk about before that there's a good amount of sightings. What is the percentage of sightings in the state of Jersey compared to like Pennsylvania and like Delaware and certain, the surrounding tri-state area?
Yeah, we're up there. I mean, there's really no comparison. We have
Okay.
because of the density, the population density. Pennsylvania is a great example. Pennsylvania has a lot of sightings, but they're dispersed over such a big area where we have such a small area, and we have
Right.
so many more sightings per capita, if you will, than the other states do. We're number 7 on the list of sites or states to go see Bigfoot in. So if you're looking, think,
Really?
yeah, yeah. Yep, 7th in the nation, so that's pretty cool too. So we're definitely up there.
Now, where do you basically focus out of in Jersey? Is there a certain specific area that hunker down the most in compared to other areas?
Yeah, one of my favorite areas to research, not only just in New Jersey but in the country, actually, is High Point State Park, which is up Pennsylvania, New York states, respectively. and we've gotten some really amazing and incredible evidence from there. We've gotten a vocalization that we sent off to a linguist from the military that has come back unknown primate, and not, it's outside of human range. We found some footprints in the snow back in 2014 up there, which is really cool. It's just one of my favorite places to go.
That's awesome, man. I see. I grew up, I did a lot of hunting as a younger adult and things like that. And we used to travel a lot upstate Pennsylvania out towards Snowshoe. Are you familiar with Snowshoe, Pennsylvania?
Yes, yeah,
Because
absolutely. In the Poconos, correct?
yeah, it's out west, closer getting towards Ohio area. It's up there,
Oh no,
up
I'm not
past
familiar.
um Bald Eagle Lake, all the way out that way. More
Oh, okay.
western.
Yeah.
Okay, but there, man, we as hunters went up there, and there were things that were oddly sounding coming from, I know we're sitting in a tree stand trying not to make as much noise as possible, and dousing ourselves with doe urine, and every scent blocker we could come up with, but I mean, I've heard odds and weird yelps, and crashing and banging and things like that. But I mean, there are certain areas up there that I was, I always imagine just like sitting in that tree stand and just seeing this thing just walk by, but never
Yeah.
happens. But I mean, the footage and all these photos that are starting to pop up, via Facebook, internet, things like that. I mean, what is the percentage you think that some of this might actually be something, and more other stuff being a hoax?
Yeah, good 1% is, I think, legit stuff that's coming out, and it's not, I'd say, there's a mix of the reasons why I say that. There's a new thing, the AI technology is coming out that's, playing a big factor in pictures when it comes to Bigfoot hoaxing. It's very,
Oh
an
yeah.
unfortunate type thing. But then you got people that, think they see something, like they think they see a footprint, but they don't put like a scale object next to it, or it's totally could be anything. We have to throw those images out because that's not good evidence. Then you have
Right.
people that see Bigfoot in every picture, that there's 90 Bigfoot in every picture, and that they have to circle them with the million red circles everywhere. That's not evidence either. You have to throw that kind of stuff out. So then you're left with the stuff that's actually real, and I think that comes down to like the 1 or 2% range.
Right. Another big thing. I was having this argument with somebody the one day, and I just found it funny. And I was watching your video, and you did a distress doe call
Yes.
for possible, hey man, there might be something to eat. I'm gonna go
Yeah,
get it.
come check me
I've
out.
got
Yeah.
I've got a lot of friends, that they do believe in Squatch, skunk ape, Bigfoot, things of those natures. And I've got a lot of them also that talk about, oh, they're vegetarians. They're not going to eat meat and this and that. I mean, there's got to be other things to eat besides just burying nuts in the wood. Am I correct?
Well, yeah, I think, if you look at, I do a lot of comparison, with a lot of my research to bears. If you take a
Right.
bear population map, and you take a Bigfoot sighting map, you overlay it, they're almost the exact same thing. That's, no matter what state you go to. Um, So that would lead me to believe that if you have two apex predators that roam in the same area, that inhabit the same area, that would mean that they probably eat similar things, right? So I
Oh,
think
of
if
course.
an 800-pound black bear, which is New Jersey's largest black bear, if that could get by on eating 70% berries and the rest foraging for, scavenging for meat and small game, I think a Bigfoot can definitely also have that potential to be able to survive on the same diet.
Right. So you you your first incident with the Squatch was here in Florida. Would you say Squatch or would you say skunk ape?
See, I think, a lot of people, misidentify the range for the skunk ape. I think the skunk ape is very secluded to South Florida in the Everglades, down south, there. I think once you start getting up into the Ocala National Forest areas, where you start get changing over from the skunk ape level to the actual Bigfoots. And
Okay.
I say that because of what's called Bergman's rule, which is a theory that animals that live south of certain points are smaller than animals
Right.
that live north of certain points, right? Because they take black bear again for an example. You have a large black bear up here, 800 pounds is a record, like I said. You have an 800-pound black bear in Florida, which is totally impossible. They're gonna be calling the National Guard type of thing. You know, their biggest black bear down there is 300 pounds. So that's an example of Bergman's rule, and I think that's a perfect example for
Exactly.
Bigfoot as well.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that because even as a hunter, when I lived up in Pennsylvania, hunting up in Pennsylvania, I mean, you look at the deer size of a Pennsylvania deer compared to a deer in Florida, I
Mhm.
mean, like I believe you had mentioned before about, the type of winters that Florida has compared to the type of winters that are in the north. They're not going to hibernate or hide as much down south as they are up north.
Correct, absolutely.
How often do you get back to the Sunshine State to really get deep into the woods and investigate?
Oh, well, unfortunately, it's about once a year. I am pleased to announce we just the other day announced our 2024 Search in America Tour 24, which is going to be awesome. We're going all over, and I will say Florida, North Florida, is going to be one of our stops. So that's going to be
Oh,
awesome.
oh, that's awesome.
We're actually going to be going back to Chirea State Park and be doing an investigation there, where I had my first encounter. Um, so it's gonna be really awesome, and we're doing a ton of libraries in that area too. So if you I don't know where in Florida you're at, but if you're in the area, definitely stop by. Or if anybody that's listening is interested in Bigfoot, I'll be in North Florida in the Panhandle come February.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, I'll have to take a trip out. I'm in the Central Florida area. So now, in your opinion, how many variants of Squatch do you think there are? I mean, we have skunk ape names, we have Bigfoot, we have Sasquatch, we've got Yeti. I mean, what do you believe is out there in different types of Bigfoot?
Yeah, so I think there's only one species of Bigfoot out there. And I think that just
Okay.
because I don't believe that the planet could support multiple large, or that the United States per se could support these multiple large creatures, right? So I think there's just one kind of version of Sasquatch or Bigfoot. I think they're all the same name. Skunk ape as well. I think all the names Yeti, Yeren, Orang Pendek, that may be a little different, but for the most part,
Mhm.
all the North American Bigfoots, I think, are the same species, which would just make sense to me. And they look a little different and they act a little different depending on where they live, because I'm from New Jersey. People are kind of rude up here, so are the Sasquatches. They're a little rude up here as well.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think it varies between where in the country you go. Some places like Ohio, they vocalize a lot more than other places. In New Jersey, they seem to knock on trees a lot. Same way within Florida, they like to knock on trees. Florida, they're a little bit more aggressive as well.
The knocking part, I mean, that's I've heard something similar to that when I was up in Pennsylvania and things like that. But, I never, I know this it's the call, the yelp. Is it like a yelp
Yeah,
that you
they
guys
do
do?
it, they do a whole bunch of different types of vocalizations. We do as many as we can to try to imitate what we think they do. But they could do as much as you could do with your mouth, as many sounds that you can make with your mouth. That's how many sounds that a Bigfoot can make too. So there's no real, knowing of what they can and can't do.
Another big thing that I like about your channel, your episodes in general, is the fact that it's natural. It's not, intertwining like the suspense and this and that, like a lot of these shows you see on television. I mean, if you could give me and people listening a little breakdown, what made you go in that direction?
Yeah, well, that's exactly why I made the show. I was tired of shows on TV not portraying Bigfooting the way it should be and the way it actually is, right? Because all the shows on TV, the reality shows on TV, we all know that they're not necessarily real, that they're designed to make money, stuff like that. perfect
Right.
example. You have some of these new shows on TV like Expedition Bigfoot, where they have evidence, right? They have audio evidence, and they'll play music over it. And it's like, why do
Yeah.
you do that? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. So I don't do that because that's not what bigfooting's all about. It's not about the suspense. It's about the camaraderie. It's about getting outside and into nature. That's what it's all about. And I hope that's what people and the fans and everybody that whoever watches my show gains from my show is it's not even about finding a Bigfoot every single time, because you don't have to find a Bigfoot every time. That's not what it's about. So, and that's what I just hope people can gain and gather from my show as I progress in the future with future episodes and stuff.
So you are on season 7, am I correct?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So what's your outlook for the rest of this year going into the new year?
Yeah, we have our busy, busy, busy season coming up. We have the last leg of our tour, our 2023 tour, and that ends up in New Jersey. We finish up locally up here. We have 22 libraries over 29 days that I'm doing, which
Wow.
is going to be very busy all over the state of New Jersey, which is cool. Before that, come the end of this month, the end of September now, we have in like a week and a half now, we have the Whitehall Sasquatch Festival up in Whitehall, New York, where we're going to be doing an investigation up there as well. In Vermont, we actually have a witness lined up who has never shared their story before. So I'm super excited to get up there, and we're actually going back to the same exact location where she had her sighting and doing a recreation. So I'm super excited for that.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun, man. So first time, she's never talked to anybody before?
Never before. Nope, nope.
She's
Her and her friends saw it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yep, they were on some
fantastic.
private property, and
D
they got permission from the owners to get back there, so we're gonna make it happen.
Heck yeah, man. That's awesome. Now, your show in general, for people, that are watching, give a little shout out about your show in general, where they could find you and whatnot.
Yeah, we're all over. You can't miss us, actually. We are on the internet. Shadowofredeye.com is our website. You can access all of our YouTube videos from there. We have a thing. You can see where we're going to be, our upcoming appearances, where I'm going to be, where I'm going to be speaking, where I'm going to be vending. And all that's at shadowofredeye.com. We're also at Facebook under In the Shadow of Big Red Eye. Instagram, we have some behind the scenes pictures that we post every day. That's Shadow of Red Eye. So you can find us pretty much anywhere on social media and the web.
Now you're the lead investigator, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. How many crew members you got that go out with you?
That depends. I have about 30 across the country that I could call at a given time, depending on where I am, that will come out with me. Um,
Got that thick Rolodex going.
yeah. Oh man, you got to. I have a whole bunch of business. Yeah, it's crazy, but it's always good to have contacts,
Yeah.
though. But anyways, but when I
Heck
go
yeah.
out on an expedition, I try not to take more than 4 people. I think 4 people is the max. I think that's great because you can break into two groups of two. Once you start getting like over the Pine Barrens this past weekend, we were down there filming with actually another huge YouTube news channel, and I'm super excited for that to come out. But we were there with like 7 people, 8 people, and we had 8 people romping through the woods. So that's not a great way to find Bigfoot, the Jersey Devil. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So the Jersey Devil, that's another big one for you.
No, it's
Put
not.
that
That's
notch
the
in the
that's
belt loop.
that's the funny thing. No, yeah. I think it's a very interesting, and to be honest, I am getting into it. I'm actually making a presentation about the Jersey Devil, so I'm going to have 2 different presentations that I speak about. One about Bigfoot, one about the Jersey Devil. Um, I can't say that I'm getting super into it, but I
Mhm.
will say it's getting there. It's got me getting there. 13th child born to mother Leeds comes up through the chimney, or as soon as she has the child,
Yeah.
it gets a tail, grows some bat-like wings, goat face, kills the mother, flies up through the chimney, and terrorizes residents for the Pine Barrens to this day. My friend and I'm going to see if I can get this, actually has a piece of the chimney that the original chimney that the Jersey Devil was said to fly up through.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
that's oh man, that's got to be pretty interesting to see in person too. You know, yeah. I it's it's something like that creature. I mean, there's so many different things, like they got up in Michigan the infamous I think it's the dog man or the
Hmm.
things like that, but I was just up in Michigan, and I'm a nerd for all things, anything, paranormal, UFOs,
Sure.
UAPs, aliens, I enjoy it all. But so I just did an episode on Dexter, Michigan, which was from March 20th, 1966, when a UFO in the area of Dexter, Michigan, came in about, and the government decided to sign it off as swamp gas, but
Mm,
it's just
yeah.
like there's so many different things out there that I'm interested in, but the fascination with Sasquatch, Bigfoot, it's just what would be some of the signs to look for if somebody was going out for their first time, and they wanted to go out into the woods, and what type of area, what type of signs would they look for, listen for, of that nature?
Shameless plug. They should, in fact, buy my DVD Squatchables. It's Bigfooting 101. If you're looking to get into if you're looking to get into Bigfooting, you can check out that DVD. It's an 11 episode series. But anyway, what do you look for? When I look for places to go bigfooting, I don't necessarily look for places with sightings. I look for places that the way I actually go out, and I wouldn't suggest that a person just getting into Bigfoot does this. But I look for areas with no cell phone service, and I go there because I don't like to be interrupted when I'm out looking for Bigfoot. I like to focus directly on Bigfoot. I don't like to have my phone as a distraction. Um, but yeah, if you're just getting into Bigfooting,
Mhm.
go where there's been sightings. What do you look for when you go out? Look for unusual tree breaks that don't have any explanation for how they got there. Look for footprints, obviously. If you happen to come across a footprint, take a picture of it, but put a scale object next to it, like a dollar bill or a tape measure or a ruler or something like that. Then take the picture so we know how big it is. Um, and listen too. That's the big part about bigfooting is listening. You're going to listen for any sort of unusual, unexplainable vocalizations, and you could do this during the day or night because Bigfoot are active during the day as well. Actually, 70% of sightings happen during the day.
Really, 70%?
Hmm.
That's wild. As for like the limb breaking, the tree breaks and stuff like that, is there a certain height you might want to look for? I mean, these things could be range in size from what, 7 feet to 9 feet?
Yeah, I'd say about 6 to 9, 6 to 9.5 feet is a big Bigfoot. Um, yeah, I would look for them from that level, about 6 to 9 feet, because if you think of Bigfoots, if they're going to break a branch I think they do that for marking areas, say like, hey, there's a berry bush this way, type of thing.
Right.
Uh, so I think you would probably grab a branch at about your head height, so whatever height that is, and then you would break it. But what's also very interesting when you do come across tree breaks is they twist the tree as well. They don't just
Hmm.
break it. A lot of times when you have a natural break like snow load or anything natural, a tree falls down on a limb and it breaks, it would just break, straight, right? But when that branch breaks, Bigfoot seems to twist it around the other way. So there's an obvious twist in it. It's very interesting.
Now, I noticed in your video you talked about the infrared,
Mm,
the
yeah.
eyes and things like that. So explain to me a little bit more how that partakes to the vision of a squatch
Okay.
from
So
like a game cam,
yeah. So I think Bigfoot have night vision. That would
nocturnal.
just yeah, that would just make sense. Just like any other animal that's in the woods at night has night vision. That's why their eyes reflect is the lupium or whatever it's called is the night vision. So, um, being that Bigfoot can see at night, I think they can see certain things that we're unable to see with our human eye. They can see outside of our spectrum of ranges of things. Just like, for example, mosquitoes can see heat, right? I think
Right.
Bigfoot can see infrared. And I think so. We know these trail cameras. What we have is these trail cameras that hunters use all the time, and we put them on trees. They're motion activated. And when something walks in front of them, it takes a video or a picture. Um, with the unfortunate thing with the trail cameras is they emit this infrared light, and it's not all the time. That's how it triggers. That's how the camera triggers is through this light. Once the light's disturbed, then the camera triggers. So I think a Bigfoot is able to see this light, especially during the night, would be obvious. And I think that's why a Bigfoot would kind of avoid these cameras. That's why there's no clear, good pictures of Bigfoot on trail cameras. Um, so what I actually do with trail cameras is I still use them because I like to see the kind of animals that are in the area, to see what they're eating, see what they could eat, the prey species that are in the area. B, because it's really cool, and C, because you can actually I take what I do is I take trail cameras and I put them in in a circle around camp, and I face them
Okay.
outwards, right? So there's all this
Okay.
glowing light that's around camp, but I leave one area open, and I'm sitting right in the
Ah,
middle of that. And when Bigfoot is so interested and intrigued, wants to come in and check out camp, that's going to be the area that he comes into. I'm gonna be sitting there with my thermal imaging camera waiting for him. Going on
that's
top of the what we touched on before is using the deer calls. I do the
right.
injured deer to add a little more oomph to the cake, add a little more a little more spice on top of it, and you have a Bigfoot remedy that's almost impossible to resist.
Yeah, that does sound, it's almost like you just you want them to funnel right into where you're going, right into where you're
Absolutely.
at, man.
Yep.
That's like how they do like some of those fish, those fish containers that they use in the
Mm,
water.
yeah.
They put all the stuff out and then they just leave that certain opening right in the center. But that's awesome. That and very interesting, so like the vision and stuff like that you think, and they got, they are a nocturnal, thing, and they're out there, and they have to be. I mean, the seclusion of these creatures, and the Bigfoot. I'm how deep, almost like, how bears, once they get their hands on something that we leave behind, that they're going to trickle and stay around that area? Or do you think that the Squatch is going to go in a little bit deeper just because of humans being out and about in that area?
I think it's an interesting question. You do have the Bigfoots that I don't think you have to go far to find a Bigfoot. I don't think you have to go 100 miles into the wilderness to find a Bigfoot. I think that actually makes Bigfoot harder to find because you're looking for more of a needle in or a needle in a haystack type of thing. That's why, for example, New Jersey has more reports because we're a smaller state. We have more investigators, we have more people to report Bigfoot sightings, right? So you don't need to go far out in the woods.
Right.
Um, as it comes to where the movement of Bigfoot and what they do, I think Bigfoot are nomadic, and I think they follow the food. Makes sense. Ancient humans used to do that. Our ancestors used to do that.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is you take New Jersey for an example. You can actually follow Bigfoot counterclockwise around the state of New Jersey. Every third year, sightings increase. No matter what part of the state you're in, every third year, sightings increase by 80%.
Wow.
Yeah. So last year in Sussex
That's
County, we had 11 sightings of Bigfoot. This year, in 2024, I'm not planning to have any.
really,
Yep.
so wow, that's interesting. I never knew that. That's pretty wild.
Hmm.
Now, with your schedule and all your traveling, doing the libraries and stuff, how much time does that leave you in between to get out into the woods? I mean, I'm sure you're meeting up with people in certain areas when you're down and out and doing your thing, but how much time do you spend yourself now out and about investigating?
All every night that I'm not doing something. Well, I mean, when I'm out camping, I'm out every night investigating. The only reason why I wouldn't be out is if I had like a super late library and I was tired, or if or if it was raining or something like that. That's the only reason why I wouldn't go out.
Right.
Um, otherwise, when I'm home and not on tour, like I've been home for a couple days now, and I'm going stir crazy. I got cabin fever. I am ready to get out again. I'm actually about to call my friend and say, "Hey, let's go camp or let's go hiking at least to get me out of the house to do something." Um,
Definitely, definitely. I hate sitting around. I get the jitters, man. I just I
yeah.
gotta I'm constantly having to do something, you know?
And it's really
Now
rough because doing these tours, when I do have, when I'm on the road, I'm on the road. We did, I think I was on the road about 130 days this year, in 2023. So when I'm not on the road, it's very difficult for me to like answer emails when I'm on the road and stuff like that. So when I get
right,
home is when I have to do all the computer work. I just emailed yesterday. I just emailed every library in North Florida, Southern Georgia, and Southern Alabama. So that was my day yesterday. Today I'm editing my show. So it's a nonstop kind of thing. But that's the nature of the beast, unfortunately. I'm
yeah,
sure.
I
I'm
feel
sure
you
with
on
your
that one too, because
with
I've
your
been
yeah.
I've been a tattoo artist for over 20 years. I started in Pennsylvania to Jersey. I've traveled half the United States tattooing in all different states. And it's just like you get home, and the next thing you know, you're unpacking and then washing and repacking and
Oh
back on
yeah.
the road again, you know.
Oh, I know
But,
that. Yep.
getting older now and having kids and things like that, it's just like, okay, it's time to focus now. The only reason I shoot up to Michigan is because it's a good friend of mine. He's ex-military, I'm ex-military. We hang out, we talk, we tattoo, and then I come
Yeah.
home, and
Cool.
that's
Thanks for
about
your
it.
service, by the way.
Oh, thank you, man. I deeply appreciate that. Now you said you're you're how do your episodes run? I are you like do you cut a certain time on them? Do you know what I mean? Do you like, all right, I'm going to have a 30-minute episode this week, or I'm going to do an hour this week, or do you have
No,
a set time on your episodes?
I used to do in like seasons 3, 4, 5 areas. I did like an hour episode. Then I realized people got tired of watching hour episodes. So in season 6, I was like, let me try to cut it down to like a half hour. And in season 7, what I've been doing now is we don't we're not releasing necessarily full episodes every week. We're
Okay.
releasing some partial episodes. Like it'll be like me going on a night hike type of thing, and that a portion of that, right? And you'll see that and that might be a 10-minute clip compared to a full episode type thing.
Right.
And I think that's to keep everybody interested. So change things up a little bit. It's not me setting up camp every night and me, going or every episode and then going on a night hike and then going on a day hike and then going on it just changes everything up, and I think people enjoy that a little bit. They see something different.
Now, have you been out west much for
Never.
hunting?
No. No, I was actually, this week actually, I was supposed to be that's why I have off this week. I was supposed to be in Montana. I had an invite to Montana, and, we were gonna do some squatching out there. Unfortunately, that got canceled, but no, I've never had the opportunity to go out west. I hope next year I'll be able to, but I gotta do a couple more libraries first, I think, or
Yeah,
I'll see.
I have a buddy of mine who lives, well, he just moved, but he lived out in Washington and
Mm.
out by Mount Rainier.
Oh,
And I heard that that is some serious some grounds there, and I always thought about going out there and doing some camping, but he ended up taking off to another state. He moved to
ah.
Flatland, but I was just curious, and yeah, I was just curious if you ever been out that far in those higher mountains and stuff like that looking for anything.
Yeah, no, it's on the bucket list, my friend. I wish.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit via, email. So you said this weekend you're heading out. Any particular thing you're looking for besides, are you researching something you looked at previously, kind of
Yeah, well, this
jumping
weekend's
back
gonna be
in?
very interesting. We're going to the, Sourland Mountains in New Jersey, which is where, I think as per my 3-year cycle theory, I think where Bigfoot is gonna be, which is awesome. So we're gonna be at the right place at the right time. We're gonna be in the right area. There's a power line cut that runs right through the park of where we're going to, which is, I think, a Bigfoot highway. What's
Yeah.
also interesting is the person I'm going with, Wiley, my good friend, one of my best friends, he actually just had a dog man encounter there. So that's
Oh,
something
really?
we might be focusing on as well, is seeing if we couldn't get some activity of a dog man.
That would be interesting. I gotta get into. I haven't really gotten much in depth on the dog man, and there's a couple guys I've been watching online and trying to grasp it a little bit, but I'm not really familiar with the dog man. Do you know much about it, or?
I haven't gotten into it too much. My buddy Wiley, he's really into it. He's deeply into it. There's a Dogman podcast or Dogman Radio, I think it's called. There's something like that, a podcast. But no, I'm not sure. I know it's an upright canine cryptid that walks on two legs, very large, has very large feet, larger than a wolf, which is how
Mhm.
it's identified. You can also identify it because it's usually doesn't have any front paws that are on the ground when it comes to tracking. When it comes to what it looks like, it's like 6 to 8 feet tall, similar to a Bigfoot. Snout has large canines.
Hmm.
We're gonna put drooling in there just to make it look creepy, and just looks like a big wolf, and that's horrifying.
Now, as for evidence for yourself and Sasquatch, what have you come across? Have you come across anything major that you had to send out lab wise and things like that lately? I mean, DNA testing, anything super solid that were like, holy shit, know?
No, not anything recent. We've actually not sent out any evidence of hair, any samples of DNA because it costs too much money. It's in the
Yeah,
it's in the the four-figure range, and I don't make that much money. Go figure. As a Bigfoot
yeah,
investigator, I don't make a lot. I don't know.
yeah.
Shocker. But we don't do that. If we do come across it, there's means of ways and people to send it to that do have the ability to get it analyzed and stuff like that. Some of the best finds that we've come across, we got that howl that I was telling you about in North New Jersey in
Hmm.
High Point State Park. We found the footprint up there, which is really cool. The footprint is like 15 and a half inches large and like 11 inches wide. Um, so some people say that that could be like a bear double step. It's in the snow, so it kind of looks like like when a bear steps, like its back paw sometimes will land in its front paw.
Right.
Um, and that looks very human-like. As a hunter, you probably understand that, and you probably know that.
Yeah.
Um, if this was a black bear, this would be because of the dimensions of the track, this would be a record-sized black bear, New Jersey's record-sized black bear, which is 800 pounds, plus an
Hmm.
additional 200 pounds. It'd be a 1,000-pound black bear if this was a black bear.
That's a big bear. That's a big
So,
bear.
is it
Now,
possible? I guess it's possible, but, probably not.
what are some of the features somebody would look for when out and about, like smells and things like that? Is there a certain smell? You always hear about the stench and the things like that. I mean, what are they looking to sniff around for?
Well, I have never smelled a Bigfoot in the woods per se, so I can't answer that uh, accurately. But what I can answer with the Bridges property in Florida, I'll tell a very quick story. Bridges property in Florida, they have it's been having ongoing Bigfoot activity for like 25 years now. And they filmed finding Bigfoot there. It's where Bobo fell down the stairs. It's where they got the Bigfoot handprint on the inside of the glass door.
Okay.
Anyways, they had a little greenhouse there, and the door was left open one night, and Bigfoot entered. They say Bigfoot entered the greenhouse and took one of her gardening gloves, right, that she had. Was gone for 2 years. They ride the property with their ATV, their gator, every night. They have trails that go around their property, right? And they ride them every single night. 2 years after this glove went missing, the glove appeared right on the back of their property, right on the trail. Wasn't there the day before,
Huh.
whatever. So she bagged it up because it smelled horrible. And what I can say it smelled like was like skunk, wet dog, pee. That's the best way I could describe it. more skunky than anything else. So
Gotcha.
that's weird. But if you're out in the woods, what I look for in the sense that I use is actually your sixth or seventh sense that we don't have, that we don't understand yet. It's a sense of being watched, or the sense of being observed, or whatever we call it.
Yeah.
Could be infrasound type thing that Bigfoot could emit, or give off, that we feel. I felt it one time when I was hiking in Morris County, New Jersey, and it made the hair stand up on the back of my head. It's the only time that I've never finished a hike. It scared me
Really?
that much. I got a half a mile into the woods. I saw a broken tree branch. Boom! Everything about my body and my mind said I shouldn't be here right now. And
Right.
I literally, I don't think I could have taken another step further. So I actually had to call my ride and say, "Hey, come back to the trailhead and get me." And it's the
Oh
only time I
man.
haven't finished a hike. It's recorded on my YouTube channel.
Oh, I'll have to check that one out. Now,
Mhm.
you, how many? What's your percentage of you doing this? You're alone out there in the woods.
About half the time or so.
About half the time. Now, when you're
Yeah.
out there at night by yourself, okay, I know it's got to get creepy sometimes. And how far out from your campsite when you're by yourself? Because I know I wouldn't go very far. Go. Do you go by yourself when you're out there and it's pitch black?
Oh, depends, really. Usually what I'll do for a night hike is pick a loop trail, or pick a destination. I want to go this far, so a couple miles. Nothing out absolutely crazy. But you want to
Yeah.
get especially if you're staying in a campsite and you're actively researching Bigfoot, you want to get far enough away from the campsite that nobody else is going to hear you if you do vocalizations.
Okay.
And you're not going to hear them if they do vocalizations. If they know you're looking for Bigfoot, they could try to mess with you, type of thing. You want to be as far away from that as possible. I would
Yeah. You don't want to
suggest,
get
if
the
you have
cross
the
contamination.
exactly. I would suggest that if you're looking for Bigfoot at a campground, if you have the ability to take your vehicle and drive somewhere to a trailhead, do that. If you're in Maine, apparently that's illegal in state parks. I found that out the hard way. So be
Oh.
careful if you're in Maine and a state park at night, because the rangers do not like that.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So what's on your schedule for the next week? Where are you heading? Where you going? What are you doing?
I'm off. I'm catching up on emails, email and libraries. We're actually doing a new thing, the performing arts centers we're doing. My next big thing I got going on is, like I said, the end of the month. We're
Okay.
speaking in Killington, Vermont, at the library, at the Sherburne Library up in Killington, Vermont, on the 28th of this month. And then we're doing the Whitehall Sasquatch Festival. It's going to be a huge festival. We're vending there. I'm not speaking, but we're vending. And I just got this brand new vending set up, this brand new canopy tent with all these little flags and stuff. So if you're in the area, come
Awesome.
check it out. It's gonna be like something to write home about. And then after that, I just start my New Jersey tour, man, and I'm just going every day. During my New Jersey tour, the first week in October, I'm in West Virginia for the West Virginia Case Expo, and then after that, the week after that, I'm actually in South Carolina for the South Carolina Bigfoot Expo. So that's going to
Ah,
be fun. I've never squatched in South Carolina before, so I'm excited to get out
oh,
and
new
down there. And
experience for you, huh? New
it's gonna
experience.
be it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good episode for sure. I can't wait.
Awesome. Mike, I just want to say thank you so much again, man, for doing this with me. And I
Ah,
appreciate it. And for everybody out there who's interested and wants the Squatch, man, check out Mike, and you can check him out in the shadows of Big Red Eye. And the website is in the Big Red Eye.
shadowofredeye.com.
All righty.
Shadowofredeye.com. Yep.
Awesome. Mike, thanks again.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure. It was really fun.
Thanks, brother. All right, man. And I'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Absolutely. Yeah, stay in contact.